Rick Without the K James presents, in my opinion, podcast.
So the next topic is the difference in being led on, man versus woman, and what do you consider being led on? Emily, we're going to start with you.
What do I consider being led on? If somebody just constantly wants your attention, I guess, or maybe not even constantly. What if once in a while they show you so much attention and they tell you something that maybe you just want to hear? I feel like I myself, I don't really lead people on because I'm being so honest all the time, and I'll just like tell them how I feel from the forefront. But I guess to talk about my reaction to being led on would be like.
You think men or women lead on the opposite sex more than you think one does more than the other?
Well, I guess we'll have to say women because I feel like any guy you want would pretty much fuck you just because they're a guy. And women are
Defensive players.
leading guys on to see if they want to fuck you. So like maybe, but I feel like guys lead women on like feelings wise. Like maybe y'all could already be fucking and it could be cool, but like y'all could be saying something just to like get to us. You know?
See, what I'm feeling, to me, being led on feels to me like when your words aren't matching the way you're treating me. So if you're like saying, "Oh man, I'm so into you," or "You're so good to me," or whatever, and you're not treating me that way, or you're not being, loving or something, I think that kind of, and being led on also to me is like if, I'm really into someone and they act like they're into me or they say they're into me, but they're not really, wanting to spend time with you that would be leading on to me. How about you, Dallas?
I feel like, for starters, I feel like women do it more because I don't feel like I've been led on that many times. However, like, if you're not going to be straightforward from the start, like, because my problem is, like, being led on, I just ask you, like, what do you want out of this? Like, are we going to hang out? Are we going to be a thing? Is this just a fling? Like, I feel like being led on, you have to intentionally be lying, and that hurts. Like, you're just being a dick at that point because you want to get whatever you're going to get out of it. If you're just going to lie in my face, like, as soon as I find out I'm being led on, like, bye. Like,
So you
just be
basically,
straightforward with me because I'm going to be straightforward with you.
so you basically saying if a guy's lying to you or leading you on, he's trying to get in your pants, is what you think?
No. But if you're, I feel like if I'm being led on, like what you said, like, your actions and your words aren't matching each other. So it's like,
it could be like relationship-wise, not just sleeping with somebody.
Yeah.
Like,
Have you led on more guys than guys have led on you?
I'm always very straightforward. Like, I'm a literal person, so what I say is what I mean. So if you're taking it the wrong way, then that's like your fault.
You were saying?
so I definitely think like you said, leading somebody on is when their words don't match their actions, for sure. But just like you, I'm super blunt, but to the point where like I feel like I scare people because they don't think, and I feel like girls just have this like stigma around them that like we're never really being honest. We're always just like, oh, whatever you want, and like honestly, if I'm just like I don't care, I literally mean I don't care. So yeah, so like it's really hard when you're like dishing it out and being blunt and you're not getting it back. And if you think somebody's being honest with you because you're like, okay, I put this all out on the table, I'm super honest, I'm putting myself in a vulnerable position, and then they don't really give you any answers and you're still just like left in limbo. Like I feel like that's leading people on because you're still always trying to wait for an answer, wait to know how they feel back, and you never really know. Mm-hmm. Like that, and that's just so confusing and kind of hurtful. Yeah.
I would really apply the answers continuously. Like, letting you believe is just as much as just telling me the lie.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And if you are being that honest with somebody, like, then it's to the point where you're having certain conversations where you should have that respect for each other.
Right.
So if you're giving that person that respect, it's the biggest slap in the face to find out later.
Yeah,
you
it's
are
almost
being
like
led on or
betrayal.
lied to because it's like, yo, I just asked you in the beginning, like, be honest with me. Like, I didn't care now, but like now I have to think you're a shit person and you're a fuck.
Well, because you invest
I
in
gave
somebody.
you, and I gave you the option to tell it to me straight, and you decided to be a dirtbag.
And that's always when it hurts, is when you're vulnerable, when you allow
Right, you put yourself out there.
How about you,
get it
Rick?
back.
I've never let anybody on.
With the speeding.
Real
I'm
quick,
trying to
if you guys want to know when Rick's lying, it's when his mouth opens.
I know I've probably been let on way more than I've ever let anybody on, and I think that's why we brought up the question, because I believe women, but I also believe that to be a woman, it's gotta be hard, because you gotta feel like a dude is hardly ever genuine with you, because we're always trying to come up with a game plan to get with you and figure out how can I take you on a date, or how can, so the genuineness from a dude, if I was a woman, I'd be like, no, you opened my door, you want to fuck me. You took me out to lunch, you wanted to fuck me. You said, you burnt it because you want to fuck. No. yes.
So that leads into a good question. I want to kind of go off a little bit. How do you feel if someone's being genuine in a relationship? How about you?
Honestly, that's really hard for me, because like we've kind of discussed, I was in a really long-term relationship, 8 years, and for that, we were very honest people, but getting out of that relationship, dating is really hard for me, because I've always been so blunt. I've really only been with that one person, so it's hard for me to know when people aren't being honest, because I just expect it, because I'm so honest out the door that I expect it back. But I do think that, because I kind of agree that women do lead on men more than men lead on women, and I think because of that, men just don't believe that I'm being honest. I just feel like no matter what I say or what I do, they're not sure if I'm actually genuinely being blunt, and I am. So I never know what I'm getting back, and it's just so hard.
Yeah.
Emily, how do you know if someone's being genuine to you or not?
Well, for me, it's the same thing. I'm so honest, so when you give me that certain respect, and I see the genuine care in your actions, I guess, is when I believe it. But it's hard with men, because you really don't know.
It has to be in the actions. You can talk all day, but if you're not doing it.
Exactly. If it's texting, I want to see you and stuff, acting like it, but if you're not putting in the effort, that's the bottom line.
You need to I feel like time is the thing. If you're willing to give up your time to somebody, time is so important. Whether it's your job, your work, your school, your friends, your family, if you're cutting out a chunk of your personal time for somebody, that shows that that they're putting you into their life. But if they're just texting or whatever, or whenever they feel like it, or, oh, I'm bored right now, so hey, what are you doing? But nothing comes out of it, that doesn't really mean anything. If you're actually dedicating a piece of your time to somebody, that's important.
Dallas, how do you tell if someone is genuine to you?
It's kind of along the same line. So I think people who made time for me, actively made the time, and so they care because they have their schedule. Their schedule because they're always telling you keep me updated. I can't talk because of blah blah blah, whatever. But then there's people that find time. You hear that they're in the car, they're just calling you because they're on their way somewhere, not because they actually had time to listen to your conversation and care about it, or it has a lot to do with the time thing. If they're being genuine, they're not just saying, hey, I want to see you. They're saying, hey, I have this and this today, but I can see you this day at this time for this long, because I want to make the time for you to be in my schedule. Because it's 2020. You're either grinding or you're not. So if you're you're making time for people or you're not.
I just thought about something that I would like the ladies to comment about that I didn't think about earlier. What about having them around your friends?
Oh, honestly, I think that's kind of important. I think that means something for sure.
Yeah. Do you think they're more genuine if they're Yeah, sure. Like, if you want me to, I'll be around your friends, and like, if you're able to have.
Yeah, well, I feel like that like shows a lot about a person too, because if you're with their like everyday friends, they're gonna be more true to themselves. Not that they're trying to put on a front or anything, but when you first meet somebody, at the end of the day, like you're trying to put on your best impression, you know. So when you're around your friends, you just tend to be more you, like down to earth, just bottom line you. So if you're bringing somebody around you and your friends, like you're trusting them to like see your true personality and your friends and how people react. So I think that's important.
I think that's where women are way more sneakier though, is if you like invite us around your friends, you guys already counsel your friends on, hey, don't you fucking tell them about the other dude, or don't you do, like,
No.
I think you guys do.
Well, you would do the same fucking thing to your friends. Or maybe
If there was like, if you were having that scandalous situation,
Yeah.
but I never been in
Like,
that situation.
I don't agree.
Honestly,
I don't agree with you on that, and the reason why I don't is because me and you would automatically have each other's back too. If I
Oh,
You
I'll
have
punch
to
you in the
say
dick if you
something.
told on me.
Well, at the end of the day, the person that they're bringing around isn't your friend. Your friend's your friend, so why would you? At like, period, end of the story. Like, you're loyal to your people. That's facts. Like, I
I
feel like
don't
no matter
always
what.
experience that. That's why my circle is small. But
I know, I don't have a lot of friends either, but I'd rather have a tight group of small friends than a big group of.
Yo, it's your boy Charlie Murphy, my main man, Rick James. That's the one you think, the comedian Rick James. Get up on.